Welcome back to my living room, folks, and welcome back to my playlist journey where I am cataloging for you and taking you along on this journey of exploration for you and reminiscing for me. Okay, once again, I am giving you this handheld tour through the music, the artists, the songs that have been instrumental in my life, no pun intended, that have formed my musical thought process, my musical mind, and have affected me in emotional ways, philosophical ways, have helped shape me. Because we know music has this transformative power, this cathartic power. So I will leave the long introduction for another time. I've noticed I'm watching these playlist reactions, and I think some of the ones where I'm talking more, I'm losing you guys, and that's a shame because I'm putting in a lot of time and effort, and hopefully some people will come along and appreciate it. But it is what it is, and you're in my living room, and I love you, and thank you for joining me, guys. I'm gonna take this opportunity to let you know that I'm looking for more patrons. Why am I looking for more patrons? Because you guys, I need your support. I am going to take this thing to a different level. That is my goal. I need new lighting equipment, new sound equipment, new recording equipment, all of it. Whole nine yards. I think this is becoming more of a hobby, and it's a direction I want to go in life. And as you guys know, balancing all your responsibilities and a full-time regular job with grueling hours, all of that sort of stuff. There's not a lot of time for this. So the time that I put in is special and precious to me, and I hope it's special and precious to you guys. And I'm looking for you guys to check out the description box below. Please become patrons. You become more influential in this channel. Okay, whatever platform it's on, you become more influential. Your monthly support, and there are many different tiers to choose from. You have many different perks. There are different things that I will do for you because you are my patron. And I do appreciate the love and support that I have of the patrons that I have now. They are amazing people. So, there's my pitch on that. Now, episode 24, Hemispheres. So 22, 23, and now 24 have all been Rush, those episodes. And I focused on the side-long stories. Fountain of Lamneth, 2112, and now Hemispheres. Cygnus X-1, Book 2. I did cover Cygnus X-1 in episode, I don't remember, was it 3? Let me check my notes. Episode 3, right, because I was featuring Alex. And you're probably going to hear more guitar on this than the other instruments because remember, at the heart of it, I am a guitar player, and I'm also showing you the featuring the guitar players that have been instrumental for me as well. So Hemispheres was 2 albums after 2112. You had Caress of Steel in 75. You had 2112 in 76, then A Farewell to Kings, where we had Cygnus X1 Book 1, and then 1978 came Hemispheres. And I saw this when I was a kid, and I'm like, what is this naked man standing on a brain pointing at another guy in a top hat and a suit with a cane? Like, what is that all about? Okay? This is an allegory. This is metaphor. This is allegory. It takes the shape of the form of, I should say, of Greek gods. Okay, Apollo and Dionysus. Apollo, the right side or the left side of the brain with logic and reason. Dionysus, the right side of the brain with emotion. And it's hemispheres. It talks about the two different hemispheres of the brain, and it wraps it up in this really cool story about what happens to the people when they follow one side of the brain versus the other side of the brain. And then our traveler from Cygnus X-1 comes into the story at some point. And he becomes Cygnus, the god of balance. And it's such a cool story. And in this album, or this song, this is where the motif is pretty much throughout. There are changes in the song, just like we've experienced with the other two, Fountain of Lamneth and 2112, but they're not so drastic, okay? And the thematic motif kind of stays consistent throughout. Now, what we have here are 6 parts. We have the prelude. We have Apollo, bringer of wisdom. Dionysus, bringer of love. Armageddon, the battle of heart and mind. Cygnus, bringer of balance. And then the sphere, a kind of dream, ends it out. And that part is really beautiful, too. So this was very influential for me because of how the story was written, allegory, metaphor. It was musically just blew my mind. Again, Rush putting out more music that's just better than, what they did previous. Pushing the limits of what they can do as far as song structure and just top-notch playing. And just such a... to this date, this is one of my... if you have, those... what kind of songs and albums do you want to... if you're going on a road trip, would you listen to? This one for sure. For sure, for me. So, okay. If I adjust the EQ in the middle of this, there are reasons for that. But we're going to go with it. You guys ready? Here we go. Oh, baby! It's so great! Let's take a pose photo with this. That bass. Does a lot of arpeggiating in this. And that bass. Love the harmonics on the guitar here. Bass is carrying a lot of the melody. Okay, I don't normally do this, but there aren't any lyrics up there, and I do have specific fans that are not very strong with English, and I do absolutely suggest that you go and find this song with subtitles, okay, in your off time. But so Prelude, the lyrics for that were, when our weary world was young, the struggle of the ancients first began. The gods of love and reason sought alone to rule the fate of man. They battled through the ages, but still neither force would yield. Their people were divided, every soul a battlefield. So now we're going to be going into part 2, Apollo the bringer of wisdom. Okay? So just do your best. I don't want to pause this. It ruins the continuity and the flow. All right, but that was the prelude. The rest of this you're going to have to try and listen to on your own. Again, I recommend go get this in a different video form because I'm using a streaming service for this, and check out the lyrics, okay? If I have the opportunity, I'll put them down in the description box below, but I just don't have a lot of time to find that or type it out or anything like that. So here we go. Apollo, here we go. The motif continues. The theme musically continues. And the way Gettr sings in this, man. Things weren't going so well. They knew they were missing something. Dionysus, what are they missing? Rocinante. All right, go back to Cygnus X-1. He got into his ship, the Rocinante, which is also, it alludes back to Don Quixote and the donkey's name, which was really clever on Neil's part to do that. So now we're going to be dealing with the Traveler who goes into Cygnus X-1, who goes into the black hole. And then remember that story where he gets smashed into atoms, but his spirit, his consciousness still exists. So the Traveler is going to enter our story now. Now, see if you can pick out some of the musical things that are the same. These chords, these were the ending chords of Cygnus X-1 Book 1. The end of the song, same. So he's gone through the black hole. You're going to hear snippets of the other song in the background. Alright, that's telling us. So where is he now?
As was told, tales of old, to the city of immortals, marble white and pure as gold.
The ambiance soaring through the ether.
can walk our road together if our goals are all the same. We can run alone and free if we pursue a different aim. Let the truth of love be lighted. Let the love of truth shine clear. Sensibility, armed with sense and liberty, with the heart and mind united in a single perfect sphere.
That ending was so beautiful. I'm going to read those lyrics out loud for those of you who might not have caught it, because I think that's the moral of the story. I think it's a message that should carry on into today. I think that the lyrics that Neil writes are so timeless. All right, they are. They really are. And I always get choked up with that ending. The sphere, a kind of dream. We can walk our road together if our goals are all the same. We can run alone and free if we pursue a different aim. Let the truth of love be lighted. Let the love of truth shine clear. Sensibility, armed with sense and liberty, with the heart and mind united in a single perfect sphere. Yeah, so that won me over, man. That whole, like, this album, like, I thought 2112 was great. This one just was like, oh my God, you know, because they're speaking on a higher philosophical level. You know, you have this story where Apollo and Dionysus are fighting for the control of the hearts and the minds of men. And so Apollo gives them wisdom and truth, and they build their cities and they converse among the wise, and you know, all of this brainy left brain stuff. But they knew they were missing something, so they went to Dionysus, and Dionysus said, throw all that out. This is all about love, baby. It's just about love. So they go live in the forests, and they're loving and doing whatever, and yada yada yada. But then they get caught unprepared because the winter comes. The winter comes, and it brings wolves and cold starvation. And then they're caught unprepared, and they're like, oh my God, you know. So there's this continual fight, you know, and it's just an allegory for even in our own brains, the microcosm of what goes on in our own heads. We follow reason, sometimes we follow emotion, and there's the constant human struggle, that constant battle between the two sides. And then, of course, with the science fiction fantasy themes that Rush is so good for, they bring in our traveler from the album previous, Cygnus X-1, and he comes into the story, and he becomes Cygnus, the god of balance. And it just, I mean, you can read so much more into it. And obviously musically it was working on a central theme. This band is well known for their time signature changes, and the way Neil is able to, because the drummers are the timekeepers, right? And so the way Neil is always able to construct the music so that there's this sense of continuity, that you don't realize you're going from 7/4 to 12/4 to 2/4 to 4/4 to 3/4 to back to 4/4, back to 8, over to 8/4, up to 2/3 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's just, he knew how to do that, and so it's brainy music. It's technically good music. They're some of the best at their craft, and to me there was nothing to not like, you know. I mean, even when they went through their different eras, there was, okay, yeah, you got to kind of get used to the fact that synth was getting a little more in the forefront, and where'd Alex go, you know. But even still, that didn't break the band up, because Alex, his friendship with Gettr and Neil was strong enough that it's like, okay, we'll do this for a little while, but, you know, and then they wound up going back to being more organic, less synthesizers, you know. And in later tours, they brought back some of those synth heavy songs with less synth and more guitar, and it sounded fantastic. So, you know, they were always experimenting, always. I mean, you know, here you got three guys. So when the synthesizers came into the band, they've got the regular synthesizers you're playing, but you also have foot triggers, and both the guitar player, both, you know, Gettr and Alex, while they're playing their stringed instruments, they're hitting these triggers and playing the synthesizers with their feet. And sometimes, if they couldn't do it, Neil's got triggers on his drums that he's triggering certain things. So they were busy. They weren't just playing. They were busy. And this song was just, to me, I was speechless when I was a kid. You know, when I was a teenager, I'm like, oh my God. I don't care what you brought to me. It was not as good as these guys. That's the way I was, you know, for good reason. So, all right, so episode 24 is done. Now, moving forwards, I'm going to get back into featuring more Jimmy Page and Chris Oliva. I've featured quite a bit of Rush here. And once I'm done with that, then we start to move into the timeline of my life that we go from about the mid-90s to the early 2000s, okay? To about 2000. We'll do that. And there was not a lot of artists that entered into my landscape, my musical landscape, my soundscape, but there were a couple that I want to take some time with, because it was an important time in my life as things were changing for me and getting kind of weird and getting kind of lost. And these artists, when I discovered them, they came along at the right time, okay? And then beyond that, we're gonna go from the 2000s on, because there was new groups of artists that just took me over into a whole different realm. So, not sure how many Jimmy Page and Chris Oliva songs. I may even do some Sabotage that doesn't have Chris, because there was some pretty cool stuff that they did before they became Trans-Siberian Orchestra. So I have to think on that for a while. There might be some gap in time between this and the next ones, as I'm deciding what I'm going to use, what I'm not going to use. But I also have other videos coming. My patrons have been requesting, so I'm going to get on those too. So there you go. God bless you guys. Jesus loves you. Thank you so much for joining me. I will talk to you later.